How can curiosity lead to more sales success? When you think about visiting your doctor, and perhaps it's a good time to make that appointment if you haven't had your yearly physical, the doctor would do something that's very interesting. You can walk into the office and expect your doctor to just know, and that assumption can lead you down a path where you might become more frustrated leaving the doctor's office than you did when you came into his office or her office. A doctor will ask questions. They'll look at their chart. They'll look at the notes they've taken before when they've met with you. They'll look at all the different aspects of curiosity or things that they weren't sure about, and they're going to ask those questions. So what does a doctor do? How have you been feeling? Have there been any concerns in your life? How's work going? Is there any stress that you haven't accounted for? Have you gained any weight? Are you working out? There's so many questions they ask. Does it hurt when this happens? Or when do you feel more discomfort? That curiosity leads them to not only checking off the things that they shouldn't worry about, but it can lead them to understanding what questions they should be asking you about. This is the examination before the examination. A great physician will ask a lot of questions. So why is it when you go into conversations with prospects, when you're having follow-up conversations with your clients, that somewhere down the line, you don't ask questions? Somewhere down the line, you don't take the same approach. When we were younger growing up, many of us had those curious minds. We were genuinely curious about life because there's so much we didn't know. But once you get to that position when you believe you know, or you have enough experience where you have that sense of confidence, you can lose that spirit of curiosity. I believe that the very best sales professionals, the most successful sales professionals, have one or two things going for them. Number one, they either have a network, they have a connection with an organization or with someone they've worked with forever and ever and ever, and they just get that source of revenue and that business coming in. Okay, some of us know people who know people. Don't have to work at it. They're very, very hard. But then there are those who are very good at asking questions. Here's what I want to teach us today, or at least talk about when it comes to being genuinely curious as how it can lead to greater success. Here's something to keep in mind. When you're genuinely curious, you're going to ask more thoughtful, more pinpointed questions. When you're genuinely curious, you're going to do more listening and less talking. And when you're genuinely curious, you're going to align value or solution to perfect need. Genuine curiosity, better questions, more listening, aligning value, boom, there's your success formula. I want to share with you today that it's important that we are curious by nature. Not curious that can be annoying. And here's what I mean with that. Because when you're curious enough, or when you ask questions that come across as being annoying, people feel like you're being judgmental. Think about the last sales meeting you were in when you thought you were going to get that deal and it did not quite happen. Perhaps that prospect walked away feeling as if you were judging them. They're not smart enough to understand that they have needs that perhaps only your organization can address. They're not experienced enough to know that these problems can lead to a pipe that you can't just put tape over. It's going to bust someday, so you need to replace that entire pipe. They might feel like you're challenging their intelligence. You're challenging their experience. You're challenging their position. They might feel like you're judging them and not listening to their need. I had a situation where last week I was speaking with someone who had an opportunity to close the deal. That person or that leader and I happened to know each other, and it came up in a conversation. And I asked a simple question, well, why wouldn't you want to work with them? And the simple thing they said was, I didn't feel heard. How many of us in our sales role go into these conversations and our client walks away not feeling heard. You know what curiosity does? It helps people to feel engaged. That's what curiosity does. If I can ask you the right question and then I can follow it up, it goes a long way. So I want to throw this out as we leave today. Be genuinely curious about people. Be curious about what they do. Be curious about how they believe that the solution that you might be offering can fit in their environments. The more curious you are, the better questions you're going to ask, the more sincere they're going to feel like to the client or prospect. You're going to do less talking, you're going to do more listening, and you're going to be able to align the right value, the right solution to their need. This is how you gain success. So let me just put it bluntly. Zip it, listen, and ask. And what's interesting about that, you're going to find that it provides more value to you. It'll bring you more success. I was on a call recently where it was a follow-up to a networking event. And the professional there, who happens to be in charge of business development for their company, said something that was interesting through our conversation. He said, David, you've been getting to know everything about me. I feel like I barely got a chance to get to know anything about you. And I said, well, it was important for us to have this conversation so that I can know what to do or how to best support your needs. And he said, wow, you knew everything about me. You got this out of me, you got that out of me, you understood this about me, you understood that about me. I was genuinely curious about him. And when you're curious in that way, you're going to have more success. Try this. Let me know how it comes back to help you. And by the way, when you're thinking about public speaking, the fact that you can ask questions that connect, the fact that you can ask questions that lead to more questions, the fact that you can ask questions that can discover more pain, the fact you can ask questions that make them feel like they're the hero, that's when you find more success. Try this, close up, ask the right questions, and be genuinely curious, and let me know if you're finding more success. I'll talk to you guys soon.